What's going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a Smackdown Live review for September 24, 2019, the final episode, officially, of Smackdown Live, as it will be moving to Friday night on Fox, and will be once again named Friday Night Smackdown. So the Smackdown Live logo is going away. This entire overlay will be different next week. All the overlays will be different, and we're adding AEW on TNT for Wednesdays. Thursdays, of course, will be NXT. Fridays will be SmackDown. Mondays, of course, will be Monday Night Raw. So what is going on Tuesdays? Well, Tuesday, Brian Zane, as we know, of Wrestling with the Greds, does weekly pay-per-view reviews for classic pay-per-views. Well, I'm not going to step on that and do that. I'm going to go back to the vaults and on YouTube, Impact Wrestling, other and indie promotions, as well as WWE, put out free matches on YouTube every single week, and they have been doing this for a while. I figured, why not get into the classic reviews, and if it's on YouTube as a free match, it has to be official. It has to be either from Impact, Ring of Honor, WWE, AEW, or an actual official. It has to say free match in the description, or in the title. So the first match we're going to be going up for next week is a Lethal Lockdown match from 10/10/2010, Bound for Glory. The Team Fortune versus Team EV2 from that year's Bound for Glory, and we will get into that on Tuesday next week, and we will go over the match, what led up to the match, and what happened to both Fortune and EV2 after said match. But that's for next Tuesday. Tonight we are here to talk about the final episode of SmackDown Live before it becomes Friday Night SmackDown again. As we all know, yesterday Carmella won the 24/7 championship from R-Truth, while the guys watched, didn't even try to break up the pin, who just watched as a woman who was active on the roster pinned R-Truth and won the championship. So they're out of luck. They have nothing to do now. So the women are involved. And during this show, we had Carmella and Charlotte Flair versus Bayley and Sasha Banks. Okay, that's fine. Of course, the 24/7 rules were suspended for said match. But it's after the match. We had the women's locker room barreling out. And who was leading the charge? Ember Moon, who was also in this pile of women coming after Carmella, who was on the back of R-Truth after being tapped out to the bank statement. Kairi Sane holding her telescope, running with the telescope in her hand, like around her eye, and Asuka. Three of NXT's best women outside of the Four Horsewomen to come through the NXT umbrella. Asuka started this year as your SmackDown Live Women's Champion, and she has fallen so far since that day that they forced her to go up against Charlotte Flair and drop the title to her so we could go to WrestleMania and have a winner-take-alls match, which eventually led to Charlotte becoming a 9-time champion and Bayley cashing in to win the championship. Kairi Sane, I think they brought up way too early. The Io Shirai heel turn, which happened on Candice LeRae, was a big deal, but I think it would have been a bigger deal had it been on Kairi Sane, who was her legitimate best friend, the Sky Pirate, like one half of the Sky Pirates, who just looks so sweet and innocent, and somebody that if Kairi Sane was turned on and attacked by Io Shirai and not Candice, I think it would have been much more impactful. Yes, it's the effect they wanted still happened, but I think they couldn't do what they wanted to do, so instead of it being Kairi being turned on, it was Candice LeRae. Ember Moon, we talked about last night with how she was just challenging for the Women's Championship 2 pay-per-views ago at SummerSlam. In a match that, yes, Bayley challenged her to, but still, she was the number one contender for the Women's Championship at SummerSlam, and she was leading the charge for the 24/7 championship after Carmella. My heart broke a little bit seeing those three women. The rest of the roster is absolutely useless, but those three women who should be right below, it should be your Four Horsewomen of Bayley, Sasha Banks, Becky, and Charlotte Flair. Those are your top 4 women in the brand. The next 3 should be Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Ember Moon, and everyone else is below that. But they had him chasing Carmella. And on top of that, they had Kairi Sane and Asuka, not too long after this, have a tag team match against Fire and Desire. So you show that you want to use them, but a couple of minutes, like 30 minutes or so beforehand, you want to say that we don't care about them as much because we're going to have them chase the 24/7 championship. This show was not a bad show. It was not a bad show. SmackDown, of course, just easier to get through, easier to swallow because it is 2 hours. You just get through it and it's over before you know it. The biggest and longest match of the night, of course, was Eric Rowan versus Daniel Bryan at the beginning of the show. Eric Rowan comes out and he talks about Mike the fans boo. He comes out to zero reaction. Like, this guy has beat down Roman Reigns. This guy has beat down Daniel Bryan. He has brought Harper back in kayfabe. But he's still coming out to like zero reaction, but the fans somewhat boo him when he learns to talk. He says what happened last week was a work of art. Some people paint or draw, but he annihilates and destroys. Rowan goes on about commanding respect, but fans respond with the "you suck" chant. He is getting what chants this entire time. He's supposed to be the big dominant heel of this entire feud, and he's getting "you suck" chants and what chants. That's not a good thing for somebody you're trying to push as a big monster heel. Might be right, and how Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan know he's right. He does and so as does the SmackDown locker room, which is why they're afraid. Bryan's music eventually hits, and he comes out. He is dressed to compete, but he does have a mic. He walks down the ramp and says, if Rowan wants respect, fight him right now for it. He drops the mic, and they both ready up for a match as the referee gets in between them to start things off. Eric Rowan versus Daniel Bryan. This match was... Daniel Bryan is just a wrestling genius. This guy can make anybody look good, and he made Eric Rowan look good. Now, was it a perfect match? No. Was it a terrible match? No. It was a good match. Now, the ending of the match got really, really fucking bad. Bryan sends Harper comes out. He turns a body lock into the bell lock in the middle of the ring. Bryan breaks the hold when Luke Harper appears on the apron. Bryan sends Harper off into off the apron into the edge of the announce table. Bryan continues, but Harper isn't phased. Harper stands on the announce table and watches his own, brings Bryan back into the ring by his head. Which, with this being Daniel Bryan, doing anything to Daniel Bryan's head should be an absolute no-no. He hangs Daniel Bryan from the top of the rope with his leg trapped in the top rope. He finally breaks and delivers the first Iron Claw looked like a fucking botch. I swear it looked like Daniel Bryan was about to break his leg. Definitely not a good look. He finally breaks it and delivers a second Iron Claw for the 1, 2, 3 and wins the match. After the match, Harper hits the ring as Rowan's music hits. Harper manhandles Bryan for some and goes out of the ring to help Rowan clear the announce table. But out comes the big dog Roman Reigns to a big pop. Roman leaps off the steel steps with a Superman punch. Here's the thing about Roman Reigns. It's like his music hits and there's like Daniel Bryan's getting his ass handed to him. He's about to get destroyed and Roman just, there's no, his music hits and he's charging down the ring. It's just slow, methodical. I'm going to get there eventually. Dude, get some, oomph in your step, dude. Come on. Harper, he Superman punches Harper. He rocks Rowan and delivers a drive-by. Harper and Rowan double-team Reigns and bring him over the announce table as some fans boo them. Bryan tries to make the save. Harper brings Bryan into the ring. Bryan ducks a big shot and drops Harper with a flying knee. Rowan turns to the ring and goes for a third Iron Claw on Bryan, but Reigns makes the save and drops Rowan with a big spear. Reigns checks on Bryan. Bryan doesn't want any help, and he gets to his feet limping. Yes, he is absolutely fucking injured. That was not a good spot, and it's moves like that can get a move banned if you don't do it right. The 054, which was Mustafa Ali's inverted 450, it got banned after he ended up hitting the WWE champion at the time, Daniel Bryan, right in the face. So if you start seeing something different for Rowan as a finisher, it's because he almost broke Daniel Bryan's leg. Bryan takes a minute and says he only wants a one-word answer. Do the fans want to see he and Rowan kick these disrespectful asses? Fans pop up and start a yes chant. Rowan and Harper watch from the ramp as Bryan and Reigns stand in the ring. Bryan's music hits in the crowd. He hypes up the crowd. The yes chants are back. Daniel Bryan is the yes man again. His heel turn, heel phase is over. Didn't even last a year, but that is professional wrestling. He had probably one of the best heel turns in the last 10 years, if I have to say so. So we currently have Charlotte Flair and Carmella versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. And look back at Brock Lesnar ahead of his title match on October 4th. They come back and they show that the San Francisco 49ers are at ringside. I don't give a shit. We get a big quick video that Pac used to hype Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. We cut to Michael Cole backstage with Kofi for a pre-recorded sit-down interview. And I'm going to say this. They've been doing this sit-down interview since SummerSlam 2013, when, right after SummerSlam 2013, when the Authority became a thing. And every single week we would have a sit-down interview with Michael Cole and Triple H for the longest time. And this is where Michael Cole sounds the best. He sounds legitimate. He sounds like he's in his elements. He can't be doing. He's not good on commentary anymore, and hasn't been probably ever. But if they wanted to go with Corey Graves and Tom Phillips on SmackDown and Theo Madden and Vic Joseph on Raw and have these sit-down interviews for Michael Cole, this is the best spot for Michael Cole. He does his best work in these sit-down interviews. It's his time to go on commentary, but they want to keep him on the stage, on here. He could do contract signings if he wants to. He can do these sit-down interviews, but anything other than commentary. This is his niche. This is what he's good at. This is what he was born to do, really. Commentary is not his thing. This is what he should be doing, I think, from here on out. Cole asked about Lesnar's challenge and why he accepted Kofi, and Kofi says he promised to be a fighting champion when he won this title, and this is another chapter of that. He doesn't know what Lesnar will do in the ring, like always, but he feels like he is at the top of his own game. He says he has defeated some of the best in the WWE, including Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Dolph Ziggler, which I don't know if Dolph Ziggler and Samoa Joe were in there, but hey, whatever. Randy Orton, and so on and so forth. Kofi admits that he feels the pressure and knows the SmackDown Fox premiere is a big deal. He's not ready to give up the title yet, and he will walk out of Fox premiere as the WWE Champion. I've been going back and forth with this over the last week, because it makes sense for Kofi to drop the championship, and yes, we have Hell in a Cell 48 hours later. What if Kofi Kingston retains on Fox premiere by some nefarious means or some no contest? And then later on in the night, we get a breaking news. Kofi Kingston will defend his championship once again at Hell in a Cell against Brock Lesnar, and that is where Brock Lesnar wins the WWE Championship. I don't think Kofi Kingston is going to be WWE Champion after October 4th or October 6th. One of those two nights, Kofi Kingston will be dropping the WWE Championship. It just has a matter of time. We go to the ring and Chad Gable comes out. He does his introduction. Back from break, and Gable takes the mic in the ring, and we see a recent interaction between King Corbin. Gable mentions Corbin's recent joke on his height and says his run as King of the Ring was no joke. What happened on Raw last night was no joke. He had Corbin beat, but Corbin got himself disqualified. He keeps going on. He's talking about how and then out comes, for whatever reason, Mike Kanellis. Mike Kanellis, who is about the same height and weight of, probably the same height but not weight and muscle, but the same height as Chad Gable, cracks a couple short jokes. Okay, usually when someone cracks a short joke, it's because it's somebody who is shorter than you. Usually you don't see somebody who's the same height as you cracking a short joke. It just came off really fucking stupid. He says he came out here tonight to prove his pregnant wife, Maria Kanellis, that size does matter. Size does not matter, ladies and gentlemen. Stop with that bullshit. It's all a matter of how much fun you have with it. Mike faces off with Gable in the ring, and the referee calls for the bell for what is an impromptu match. He grabs Mike, delivers the Chaos Theory, I'm pretty sure, suplex. One gets another suplex. He does a suplex, then a Chaos belly to belly, then the Chaos Theory, and then gets him in the ankle lock, tap out, and that is that. Chad Gable is your winner. Did we really need to see Mike Kanellis come out? Hell no. Mike clutches his ankle on the apron. We go to replays, and Elias's music hits, and he calls out Gable. He calls Gable shorty and says he's been following Gable's scores, which inspired him to write a new song. He's playing a brief song which takes up shots at Gable's height. And Gable looks on. He quoted some musician, I can't remember who it was, and said, "Short people don't have any right to live," which got the crowd booing. So Elias and Gable's feud that never really never materialized is back on, I guess. We see what happened with Carmella and R-Truth the night before. We see R-Truth backstage. He acts like he doesn't know who she is. Carmella comes out in the locker room. Flair congratulates her on the title while staring daggers at R-Truth and hopes she is focused on tonight's match. Carmella says she is, and Bayley has been friends for years, and this isn't the Bayley she knows. Flair just this is exactly the Bayley I know, with a little bit of laugh. Truth with the woo, and Flair walks away, feeling a little disrespected that he would even attempt the woo. We go to after the ring and hold on. We have Carmella and Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. They did plug about Monday season 3 and next Friday's Fox season premiere. And out comes Charlotte Flair, then 24/7 champion Carmella. With R-Truth, Sasha Banks is out first, and then out comes Bayley This match was nothing big. It was the 24/7 title rules were suspended during the match, which I guess that is a rule now. That is a singles. If it's a singles or tag match that isn't for the title, then I guess the title rules are suspended, I guess. Pretty much this match was Carmella getting dominated for the entire majority of this match. Charlotte Flair gets in for a bit. She gets some offense in. She ends up tagging Carmella back in towards the end of it. Carmella nails in. Let's see. Bayley stalks and trashes Carmella and works her over. Carmella fights Bayley off and super kicks her back to the floor. Carmella comes back to Banks and works her over for a pin attempt, but Banks immediately goes to the Banks statement for the tap out. After the match, Banks' music hits as she stands tall. A group of female wrestlers, which included Ember Moon, Sonya Deville, Kairi Sane, Asuka, which people were cracking up because Kairi Sane was running with her telescope she was looking through her telescope as she was running. I believe Mandy Rose was in there too. And they all run away, and that was all we saw of Carmella for the night. Banks and Bayley corner Flair, but she strikes first, but they double team her until out comes Becky Lynch. Becky avoids a double team attacking unknowns on Bayley and Sasha Banks. Going back and forth on each other, she applies to disarm her on Banks, but Bayley pulls the partner to safety. Lynch stands tall in the ring and taunts Banks and Bayley as her music starts up. This all leads to next Friday, where we will have a rematch of the 4 Horsewomen tag team match we had last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, in Madison Square Garden, that match we had in Madison Square Garden. We are going to have this on the Fox premiere. Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Charlotte and Becky Lynch. We see Sheamus Man backstage with 3 lawyers, back to commercial break, back from break, and they announce the NXT. Announcers plug NXT on USA tomorrow night. Matt Riddle versus Killian Dane will be on that show. We also had announced for next week the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era for the Tag Team Championships. And of course, Shayna Baszler will take on Candice LeRae as well. Then we had Ali versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I will have to say, I really do like how Sami Zayn introduces Shinsuke Nakamura. I guess we had the indication at Clash of Champions that they were taking the mic away from Sami Zayn because he was not on the microphone at all tonight. Basically, this match came down to a case of dumb babyface syndrome by Mustafa Ali. This match was going back and forth, counter after counter, and big move after big move. Ali looks like he's going to win this match. He hits a tornado DDT on Nakamura, goes up top, but Sami pulls Nakamura to safety before he can go for the 450. Ali runs the ropes and flies out, taking Nakamura down. He goes over the referee, who's in between the middle and top rope, yelling at Sami Zayn for taking Nakamura out. So Ali's pissed as fuck. He's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do this myself. Goes over the referee, takes out Nakamura, throws him back in the ring. But dumb babyface syndrome. He throws Nakamura back in the ring, goes to get inside. Sami Zayn gets on the apron. They both drop down. He chases Sami Zayn around half of the ring. They get into the ring. Sami Zayn moves. Kinshasa, 1, 2, 3. Dumb babyface syndrome. Any chance of Nakamura and Ali fighting for the Intercontinental title died right there. Dead, done, no more. It's over. Nakamura is going to move on to whoever they want to do, or we won't have any other title matches and we won't see them again for a very long time. We saw a video package of Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens showing what led to the $25 million wrongful termination lawsuit. We see Shane talking to his attorneys backstage again, because we have to have three or four segments, even if they're not talking segments, with Shane McMahon on our television. I'm hoping the way this thing goes that it leads to Shane McMahon being absolutely fucking done after whenever things take place. Time for the vaccine break segment after they did announce that Rowan and Daniel Bryan will be at Hell in a Cell. For some reason, Wrestling Inc. on Twitter took the fact that when you see the title card, the match card for Hell in a Cell, the picture they show of Daniel Bryan and Rowan on one side, Daniel Bryan and Roman on one side and Luke Harper and Eric Rowan on the other, they have the Hell in a Cell logo and it actually says Hell in a Cell. So whoever's running the Twitter page for WrestlingInc.com assumed the match was going to be inside Hell in a Cell, even though that's what it says for every single match that's not inside Hell in a Cell. If it was a Hell in a Cell match, it would say Hell in a Cell match, but it didn't say that. Anyway, New Day versus the B Team, and this is the bathroom break for your afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee, I took a piss, came back, midnight hour, 1, 2, 3. This match meant nothing. The B Team were trash. Can you believe that last year in the summer, these two were tag team champions on Monday Night Raw? I know, it's crazy, isn't it? The B Team were tag team champions in the summer of 2018, and here they are now losing a quick match to the New Day. Oh my God. After the match, music hits, and blah blah blah. Mandy Rose singing Vera backstage. Rose is passing out Maxim Australian magazines with her on the cover. Vera asks her if she's serious because they have a match coming up. Otis interrupts and wants a selfie. He's being a creeper. You know, it's Otis. You know, hey, Otis, hey, Tucky. I got a magazine, Tucky. Oh, yeah. I have a problem with that. Got a selfie with her, took a magazine. He's all happy and wonder if he gave himself a happy ending after the night. Who cares? All I know is they're making Otis Dozovich into a big-time creeper. Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Fire and Desire. Mandy versus Sonya Deville. This is the first time we've seen Kairi Sane and Asuka wrestle since, I believe, the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championships with Sky Beth. No. The week after, which was when, wasn't it, Extreme Rules? Yeah, I think it was the week before Extreme Rules. They had that Fatal 4-Way with Kairi Sane and Asuka being the last eliminated, with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss won the tag team titles. Then the next week they defended their titles at the pay-per-view against the former champions, and then they faced Kairi Sane and Asuka for the titles the next night. That, I believe, was the last time we saw Kairi Sane and Asuka in a wrestling match on television. That was about 2.5 months ago. That is sad. Not much you can talk about here. Rose, I like the way this match ended. You have Rose rolled up Asuka for 2. Sane tags in as Asuka drops Rose with a code breaker. Insane elbow. 1, 2, 3. Great, nice little ending to a match that really didn't do much. It also doesn't help the fact that you saw all 4 of these women chasing Carmella earlier in the night. So that is a way to hurt your women's division, like this tag team division that you're trying to build with Kairi Sane and Asuka and Fire and Desire. I will not call Kairi Sane and Asuka that terrible name, because quite honestly, it's a stereotypical offensive name that they did not come up with. Vince McMahon and his genius came up with it, which we all know he is not a genius. They stand tall as the music hits. The Veil checks on Rose. We see Shane McMahon and Rose backstage. They are headed to the ring, back to commercial break, and we get Charlotte Flair and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks and Bayley for next Friday on Fox. The last day the next to last day before the wildcard rule hopefully dies. October 11th and the 14th cannot come soon enough. I am so tired of this goddamn wildcard rule. SmackDown ended with, and we'll get to it in a minute, SmackDown ended with two Raw superstars fighting each other before we got to the end of the show, before the show went off the air. Anyway, Shane brings up the 24, is introduced. He has 3 lawyers with him. He brings out Kevin Owens. He even plays Kevin Owens' music. But Kevin Owens doesn't come out from the stage. He comes out from the crowd where he should. He's not dressed to fight. He's wearing he's wearing a blank shirt on the front with, I think, a little bit, with a, look like it has some kind of bird on the back with, like, the letters P, E on it. He brings up Shane brings up the $25 million long termination lawsuit Owens has against him. Shane says they have thought about a resolution, as we've been going over this case ad nauseum over the last week. He says, we have 2 options. Owens, I can tie you up in court with the vast resources I have for years, making you spend millions of dollars that you have to just keep this going. Or option 2, I will drop the fine, reinstate you, and you can drop this entire lawsuit, and we can start as a clean slate. Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon goes to the handshake, and Kevin Owens is like, you know, you're an idiot, right? This hasn't been about the money. This hasn't been about anything else other than getting rid of Shane. He says court like lawyers in court and all that. It kind of makes me sick. The only thing making me sick is Shane McMahon in the locker room because he doesn't belong there. No, he does not. He says that this lawsuit is about getting under Shane's skin and getting what everyone has wanted all along, to see Shane's ass fired. Shane asks him what his decision is, and Kevin Owens proposes one final match between the two. If Shane wins, he drops the lawsuit, stays fired, and we will never see him again. If Owens wins, then Shane is gone from WWE. Shane asks him what the catch is. Shane says there is no catch, but he wants that kind of match where he can hurt Shane, and Shane can have the same opportunity. He wants Shane's lawyers to draw up the documents, put them in a briefcase, and let's have a ladder match. Well, when he asked this, whoever was in charge of the mics cut the mic for Shane McMahon because Kevin Owens' music hit. And usually when the music hits, you can still hear somebody's microphone, but you couldn't hear Shane. So, unless you were blind, which, if you're blind, this sucks for you because you have to hear it from somebody else, Shane McMahon said, is that what you want? You're on. So that match has been made official. Don't know if it's going to be on October 4th or October 6th. That is the question. We have not had confirmation as of me recording this. For all I know, I could look on Twitter as soon as I'm done here getting ready to upload this, and it says Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens ladder match on the 4th or on the 6th. That is the deciding factor. But we're not done. We get this. They've been doing this a lot on SmackDown since the Who Done It storyline started with Roman Reigns. They cut straight to the backstage area. Kayla Braxton is with Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch to ask her about the upcoming Hell in a Cell match with Sasha Banks. Banks is talking about, yeah, she has the advantage, and she better hope that she has the advantage because I'm going to go in there and I'm going to kick her ass. She's talking trash. She's just speaking the truth about everything when it comes to Sasha Banks. When Sasha Banks attacks her from behind, beats her down. Banks manhandles Lynch some and uses the steel fence against her. She says, I'm the standard bearer. You're nothing, Becky. She takes her, there's like a steel fencing. She pushes her into it, wanting her to get used to that, even though the Hell in a Cell is not going to feel like that because it's rubberized and it's colored red unless they change it back to what it should be, unrubberized and steel. WWE officials rush to bring things up, forcing Banks to back off. SmackDown goes off the air with Sasha Banks taking the steel because it's not clamped down and pulling it back and throwing it into the stomach of Becky Lynch. Banks standing tall, and Banks and Becky who is selling the beatdown. And that's how the final episode of SmackDown on the USA Network goes off the air. You couldn't finish with the Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens ladder match announcement. You had to finish with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch beating the hell out of each other or fighting in the backstage. Two Raw superstars who shouldn't even be on SmackDown other than the fact that you have the Boston Thug connection being buddy-buddy, which the buddy-buddiness is going to have to end unless Sasha Banks doesn't win at Hell in a Cell and she's moving to SmackDown while Charlotte moves to Raw, which, oh God, no, please no. What I would like to see is Charlotte moved to Raw, I guess, and Becky moved to SmackDown again, which means Becky would have probably one of the shortest tenures of a brand outside of when John Cena went from Raw to SmackDown and back to Raw in the same night or whatever it was. And have us get, I guess, Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair again, which we haven't seen in 3 years, even though that was atrocious. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But, however, I just don't think it should have been 2 Raw superstars ending the final SmackDown before we go to Fox. This is going to be a lame duck show. The ratings do not matter. They could hit a 3.7 on this show, and it does not matter. Because they're going to Fox next week. Fox next week's rating is not going to matter. SmackDown's ratings for a whole will not start to matter until probably not even until after the draft, till the week after the draft, really. So it was a good show. SmackDown ended, I think, on a good note. Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston next week. Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. And who else knows? Maybe the ladder match is going to be on there, giving you 3 big matches. I think that should be on there because it's not. I don't want to see this on pay-per-view again. Just give me this match on Fox, the Fox premiere. Even though I know it's the 20th anniversary, so you're going to want to have big matches on this anniversary show. It's 20 years of SmackDown. Even though the actual 20th anniversary was like in August or September of 1999, whatever it was. Anyway, that is your SmackDown Live review. I'm going to be changing Raw, SmackDown, NXT's overlays completely. We're also going to have ourselves an AEW on TNT overlay coming next week as well as the Tuesday night free fights. I'm going to come up with a name to use for that. But until then, my name is Franz. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter and twitch.tv/TheFranzClub. I will see you guys Thursday afternoon for NXT. And then, of course, Unscripted on Sunday. Until then, my name is Franz, and I'll see you guys later.